Hey y'all, it's Desiree and I'm back with another video. And for this video, I want to hopefully encourage somebody today who is dealing with possible anxiety, anxiousness, worry, stress, because you're not focused on one day at a time. God is saying to let the morning worry about the morning. It's so easy to find yourself 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 3 months, 4 months, well into the future when it's only humanly possible for you to take on one day at a time. Some of us don't realize that we're so worried, we're so stressed out, we feel so defeated because we are not taking one day at a time. God has provided for you today, but you worried about tomorrow. You worried about next week. You just got paid this week, worried about what's going to happen next week, worried about what's going to happen when those bills come around next month. God is saying that you need to take one day at a time. And I know for a lot of y'all, God has y'all in situations where you are forced right now to take one day at a time. God is only giving you a day-to-day view, a day-to-day vision. And that may be new for you. That may be different for you. You may be used to relying on yourself. You may be used to relying on a steady paycheck, a steady income, going about things and getting money on your own terms. But for this season that God has you currently, He really wants you to know and learn that you can solely trust Him and that you can solely look to Him for all of your needs, for all of your wants, and for all of your desires. But with that comes a day-to-day view, a day-to-day vision. And because of that, it's required to have a day-to-day focus, sometimes even a minute-to-minute focus. I just ate this morning. I don't know what I'm going to eat tonight. I just fed these kids today. I don't know what they're going to eat tonight. I just paid for this hotel room tonight. I don't know what I'm going to do in the morning. And the enemy is trying to cause you to believe that you have an unsteady footing. And it's causing your mindset to become shifty. It's causing your heart posture to become shifty. And it's allowing room for anxiousness. It's allowing room for doubt. It's allowing room for unnecessary warfare. Because stress, worry, and doubt, anxiety, anxiousness brings unnecessary warfare. And in this life, we are already afforded enough warfare as it is. I don't want unnecessary warfare. And if you think about it, it's human nature to be in control. After all, God put us on this earth to rule and to have dominion. So it's in our DNA. We are wired to be in control. But however, what we can't have control of is the will of God. What we can't have control of is the timing of God. What we can't have control of is what God has already predestined, what God has already pre-planned. The natural man says, I need to remain in control, but the spirit man says, I need to lose control. On this faith journey, it comes a time where you have to just truly surrender all control, all seeming control, and truly trust God, and truly look to God, and truly believe God for your daily portion. If that bill is due tomorrow, why are you worried about it today? If that car got you from point A to point B today, why are you worried about tomorrow? We truly got to let God be concerned about tomorrow, and we got to let the morning worry about the morning. And we got to let the future worry about the future. Isn't it crazy how we sit up and stress ourselves to death? You was in a good mood. You were happy. You had joy all the way up until you started trying to figure out the future. You tried to put your mind to what it is that God has chosen to conceal. It was a point in time I used to hate when somebody asked me, oh, what you doing next year? What plans you got coming up for next year? Oh, I know you said you were going to start this business venture. When you think you're going to get it off the ground? When you think you're going to get started? What you waiting on? I would hate that because I would always get anxious. I would always get antsy. I would begin to feel confusion wrestling around in my mind, agitation wrestling around in my mind because I'm like, well, I don't know. I have no idea. And I would find myself walking away from those conversations, trying to sort out the future, trying to make sense of the future. And the enemy is very sneaky. The enemy knows exactly what to ask you and who to have ask you to put your mind in a complete frenzy. Because yeah, you might trust God. Yeah, you might be looking towards God. But do you have enough faith to live day to day saying, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to be doing next month, next week. I don't even know what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. But it comes a time where you have to truly learn to become comfortable with saying, I don't know. With knowing that you truly have no earthly idea just how quickly I don't know can come from an anxious thought and anxious perception to a place of peace. I don't know what God is doing, but I know that I can rest in Him. I don't know what God is doing, but I know that I can remain assured in Him. And if I don't know, that means that I am yet to know. If I don't know, it's because at the appointed time, God is going to reveal His hand to me. Because God may allow you to sit there in a place of I don't know, but God will never let you sit there in a place of confusion. God will never bring about a place of confusion over your life that leaves you feeling like you are on unsteady ground. That's the enemy. The enemy will tell you that you are on unsteady ground as if God is not a firm foundation. And I think it's so funny sometimes because, people like to jump ahead of God and they'll have this whole plan lined out and have this whole elaborate, detailed idea to what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. And then they look to you in genuine curiosity and say, oh, well, what's your plans? What's your goals? I don't know. I'm just trusting in God. I don't know. I'm just looking towards God. And they'll sit there and look so puzzled. They'll sit there and just look at you crazy like, what you mean you don't know? Don't you know time is steady ticking? Don't you know days are steady passing you by? But don't you know that God makes things beautiful in His time? But don't you know that when you give up control to God, things tend to happen a lot sooner than you could have imagined, than it could have happened if you would have put your hands to it. Sometimes faith looks like I don't know. Well, what you gonna do about a job? I don't know. What are you gonna do about income? I don't know. What you gonna do about transportation? I don't know. What you gonna do about shelter? Listen, I don't know. But what I do know is I can look towards God. What I do know is I can hold on to God. But what I do know is if He provided for me today, if He provided for me yesterday, if He provided for me every day of my life leading up to this moment, I can trust Him for tomorrow. I can trust Him again in the morning, and surely He will never fail. When the enemy tries to flood your mind with doubt, with worry, be quick to say, listen, I don't know. I don't know what God is doing, and I don't know how God is going to get it done, but God knows. And if God needed you to know, if God wanted you to know, if it mattered, if it was a make or break scenario situation where you needed to know, God would reveal that. God would show you that. If He hasn't revealed it, it's because you don't need to know. If He hasn't revealed it, it's because He don't need your help. If He hasn't revealed it, it's because it doesn't require an assignment. If He hasn't revealed it, it's because it doesn't require your hands. All it requires is your faith. All it requires is your belief that if He did it for me today, then He will do it for me tomorrow. Don't just call Him your Father. Don't just know Him as your Father, but be His child. There's a scripture that says that when I was a kid, I thought like a kid. But even as adults, we have to have a childlike mind towards God. We have to have a childlike mind when it comes to faith. We have to have a childlike mind when it comes to being led by God. Because all a kid knows is I want this toy. They don't care how many hours you got to put in to get it. They don't care how much it costs. They not sitting back saying, oh, I don't know if they got it in stock at the store. Listen, if they don't got it at Walmart, they got it at Target. If they don't have it at Target, then we going to get it online. And if they don't get that toy today, they're going to wake up tomorrow with the same expectation, with the same joy, with the same commitment. I know what I want. I know what I'm believing for. I know what I'm trusting for. I know what's owed to me. Because kids, listen, what you mean you're not going to buy me that toy? And you're my mom. What you mean you're not going to buy me that toy? And you're my dad. What you mean you don't have any money? What you mean? No, you got the money. Because we at the store, right? You got the money because I just seen you put gas in this car, right? You got the money because we just went grocery shopping, right? You got the money because you just bought the school shoes that I need. And now I'm expecting this toy that I want. And we got to look at God in the same way. If He provided every other need, if He provided every other desire, surely He got this one. Surely he's gonna meet this one. Surely he hasn't forgotten about this one. And kids don't never tell you one time. They are always quick to remind you, and they don't forget. Got you going to bed thinking about that Paw Patrol toy. Got you going to bed thinking about buying that Fortnite game. Because at this point, I want it just as bad as you do. And God is no different. You don't think he hears what's on your heart at all times? You don't think he hears the thoughts in your mind at all times? You don't think that he knows as a perfect father, a good father, everything you need, everything you desire? We tend to think of God in the way that a parent would do an older child, saying, but did you complete all your chores? But are you passing your grades? But did you clean up that room? Okay, let me see. Let me check. Sometimes we think that we're waiting on God to approve or deny us. But how many of us know that not only will God provide every need, but he will also provide every want, even when you don't even deserve it? Because I know the heart of my child. I study the heart of my child. It's okay to keep a broad vision in mind. It's okay to have an idea of what it is that God promised you, to have an idea of what that looks like to you. But it's important to remember to take it day by day. It's important to look to God for your daily provision and your daily portion alone. Not 2 days in advance, not 3 days in advance, because the only thing there is worry. The only thing there is doubt. The only thing there is unnecessary warfare. Even with all that overthinking, you cannot think your way through the future. It's a must that we eat and be satisfied. It's a must that we put on our clothes and be satisfied. It's a must that we come into the awareness that we are still in our right mind and be satisfied. And it's a must that we go to sleep each night in peace, satisfied, knowing that if God did it today, he will do it again in the morning.